I like to think of moles simply, let's say we have this deserted island. We have, a couple trees on this island, and we're sitting out in the middle of the ocean, so we have all this water surrounding us. Who knows exactly where Mole Island is? I've always wanted to go there, but it's a place, okay? And going to this island every day, all the time, are different boats, okay? And basically what we're going to learn in Stoic is all the different boats that can take you to Mole Island, and then all the ways you can get off of Mole Island, okay? And that's basically what we're going to do all the time. Once you're on Mole Island, you can convert from moles to moles, all different ways and different kinds. And in doing so, you can go from moles of molecules to moles of atoms, whatever, but all your currency on the island is in moles, okay? Now, one other very important thing to understand when we talk about this concept. We're going to get there, let's say we're going to use mass to get to Mole Island, okay? So in other words, we start with some sort of mass. Masses are typically going to be grams. They could be pounds. They could be kilograms. Some sort of mass. We're gonna use that mass, get on the mass boat, okay, and then we're gonna take that to Mole Island, and we're gonna have to use some sort of molecular weight that I'll abbreviate as MW, molecular weight. That's going to be our conversion from mass to moles, okay? Another important one that we did this 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 module is from atoms / molecules. Depends on if you're talking about a collection of atoms or just individual atoms by themselves. Okay, so then we have to get on our Avogadro's number boat, okay? This boat over here is the mass boat. I don't have a name for this. I'm not that creative. Okay, so we have a mass boat. We have an Avogadro's number boat, and that too can go to Mole Island. And doing that, we're going to use Avogadro's number as our conversion factor from atoms / molecules to moles. Okay. Now, one very important concept about Mole Island and all the boats that get you there. You cannot, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot jump from one boat to another boat. It doesn't happen. There are no tickets to get you from the mass boat, from over here to over here. Okay? So the only way you can do that is you can go from the mass boat to moles, and then from moles to atoms or molecules. Or you can go from atoms, molecules to moles, and then back to mass. That's right. That's the only path right now. Those are the only two paths we're learning in Module 2. We'll do other paths. There are other ways to get to Mole Island. And as the semester progresses, we'll build on this map. We'll start, but right now this is where we're starting. So we have moles sitting in the middle, of course, and we can get there from mass. We can get there from atoms. Okay. To show you a quick calculation, let's go from. I'll do one of the problems, but I'll do it right here. I'll do it again later in the problems. But let's go from grams of something to molecules of something. Okay. So we have some compound, C2H3, Cl3O2. And we're going to start off with 1 gram of this, 1.00 grams of this substance. Okay. And I'll show you in the module, but we get a molecular weight. Our molar mass of that is 165.4 grams per mole. Okay. And let's go from grams of the whole thing. So grams of this, 1.00 grams of this stuff. And let's take that to atoms of chlorine. Okay? So you need some sort of way to abbreviate this thing. So C2H blah blah blah. C2H blah blah blah. To moles of C2H blah blah blah. And then we're on Mole Island now. Now we're here. We are in the middle of the place. So now we're going to go, we have a mole of that stuff. We want to get to moles of chlorine. That's what all these numbers are. Chemists have made that relatively straightforward in a very complex way. Okay, so we have 1 mole of this stuff. We have 3 moles of Cl. And then in 1 mole of Cl, there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. Okay. So if you do that, you end up with 1.09 times 10 to the 22nd atoms of Cl. But realize we went from grams to moles to atoms. So we went from here to moles, and then we stayed on the island, but we interconverted to another mole of something else in our molecule. And then we get on the other boat, and we get off the island, and we go to atoms. Okay? That's the path, and that's the path of most problems that are involved in chemistry. Now, sometimes, oddly enough, and we'll talk about this later, but sometimes you'll start with kilograms or mass of one thing. Okay? You'll go to the island. So you'll go here to the island. You'll switch to some other molecule using moles, because that's the major currency in most chemical problems, and a lot of chemistry is moles, okay? So we'll go from moles of one thing to moles of another thing, and then we get back on the mass boat. We can do that. But now when we get back, we're using a different molecular weight, okay? Because when you go from moles of one thing to moles of another, you typically change your molar mass. You don't always, but most of the time you do. So we go here, we start with grams or whatever. We use a molecular weight to get to moles. We use some sort of chemical formula to get to moles of something else. And then we use probably a different molecular weight to get back to mass. That's a very common problem using moles. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and that helps you guys think about this.